Well, hello everybody! This is Jesus Quesadilla, and today I'm bringing you a preview of a game that was just released on Steam last night, I believe. It is called Rusty Hearts, and I've been playing this game for all of about 20 minutes, and I just wanted to make a real quick video to show it off to you guys. I get the feeling that many people probably have not heard of this game as of yet. It just reached open beta, and is a free-to-play MMO game. But the thing that sets this game apart is, well, first of all, as you can undoubtedly notice, is the visual style. It's sort of got that Persona Shin Megami Tensei sort of cel-shaded anime style, which I'm personally a huge fan of. And the combat itself in the game is of interest as well. It's not turn-based so much as it is kind of a Dynasty Warriors type hack and slasher. But I think the gameplay probably speaks better for itself, so I'm just going to jump right into that. Alright, you can see these are the typical enemies that you'll run into, just skeletons. You might have noticed on the dungeon select screen that there are different difficulty options that can vary anywhere from normal to very hard. So if you're the type of player who likes a challenge, there's definitely that provided for you in this game. For this run-through of this dungeon, I am doing it on hard, just to kind of give you that middle ground and show you what the gameplay is like. And there are definitely enemy varieties that I've encountered thus far anyway, even in my very brief, about half-hour long look at this game. I've already encountered long-range, short-range, multiple boss enemies, so there's no shortage of enemy types, especially for a free-to-play game. And in case I didn't mention already, this is free-to-play. It's on Steam right now. I highly encourage all of you guys to try it out when you get the chance. Alright, so just taking care of these enemies. I'm showing off a few of the abilities here that you can do if you double tap, if I get the chance here, if you double tap on the arrow keys in any direction, your character will teleport, so you can use that to kind of dodge around enemies that you want to get past. And you can also use these combos, which, you know, in a typical MMO, like something like World of Warcraft, you would have these abilities hotkeyed and you can use them. Well, it's the same exact thing in this game, and you draw from a pool of mana and all of that, but the thing that makes a difference is that it's all in real time, like you're actually participating in the combat, if that makes any sense. So you can run around, dodge enemies, and really your performance in the game is dictated by your ability, not so much by random statistics, which I personally like. And now that I'm actually catching a break here, just killing this last enemy, I'm going to be showing you can actually throw enemies as well, and I can't do it now because there aren't any other enemies here, but you can throw enemies into each other to cause even more damage, so that's kind of cool. And as you just saw, I unlocked that new area. First I'm going to just pick up this loot that was dropped. Now that I've caught a break from all the combat, I'm actually going to say that I'm a huge fan of the soundtrack of this game too. Don't know if you can really hear it in the video, but when you play the game, trust me, one of the things that'll catch your attention immediately, other than the fact that the story is a little bit confusing, but then again, when is it not in these types of games? But the thing that will really catch your attention is the soundtrack, in my opinion. I think for a free-to-play game, it just has a beautiful soundtrack, and I've been trying to locate it somewhere online so I can download it and listen to it, but that search still goes on, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm coming through this way. You saw this door was unlocked. In a previous playthrough of this dungeon, you couldn't access the area because it's related to a quest. So, again, like any other MMO, you'll find you take on quests for different characters, and so that can be anything from, say, kill 10 of this type of enemy, or gather this item from this dungeon, or even complete this dungeon on the very hard setting, something like that. Alright, so just taking care of this last guy. And the other thing in this game is you're ranked. I don't know if you guys can see, but in the corner, the right-hand side of my screen, you get a ranking as you go through the dungeon based on your performance against the enemies. So for stringing together combos and taking less damage and killing enemies in succession, you get additional points, and that affects your rating for the dungeon. So if you're a completionist, like a perfectionist, there's a lot of replayability in just going through the same dungeons again and again, trying to get better scores. So in that way, I guess another one of the benefits of this game, another one of its pluses, is that it kind of has an element suited to every type of player. If you like to play solo, if MMOs aren't really your thing, this is still fun. You can play dungeons on the normal setting and on the hard setting, and you can see I'm faring pretty well against these enemies on my own. So there's no necessity for you to partner up with players. I haven't tried it yet, but I imagine that'll be pretty fun too. On the very hard setting, things do get pretty tough, and unless you're in a lower level dungeon, you probably want to have at least 1 or 2 other people there with you. But that's just my opinion. But so for people who like difficult challenges, this game has that. For people who like good soundtracks, this game has that. The combat is just in depth enough to be interesting and fresh. Questing is fun, and I think once this game gets a bigger community, it'll really start to take off. And like I said, it's an open beta right now, so there is a little glitchiness, especially in cutscenes and stuff like that, and in loading screens. But once they get that all patched out, I think this is going to be a really phenomenal game, and I really expect it to catch on. So you can see this big lumbering giant coming towards us. I kind of didn't address that elephant in the room, no pun intended. But so he's the boss enemy for this dungeon. So I guess at the end of every floor of the dungeon, you only do 1 floor of the dungeon at a time. You face off against a boss encounter, and so he's our encounter for this floor. So he's gonna be tougher than normal enemies. He's got his health bar at the bottom, but running around him, he's slow, so you can kind of combo on him and use your special attacks to daze him. And what I like to do is, as soon as I unleash all my attacks on him at once, I double tap my keys on the keyboard so I can do that little teleport away from him. And that seems to be working pretty effectively. The other thing with this game is that there's some strategy involved, especially with boss enemies. They'll all fight differently. So you really have to understand the way the enemy works. Like, this guy is slow, so you want to dodge his attacks because they're going to be really powerful, but at the same time he's slow, so you can get in a lot of moves, then kind of retreat and pull back for a while and wait for your moves to recharge. But I took care of him rather handedly, and that's the end of this stage. And so you can see my scores here, and I got a rank of a B, which, I don't know, that's not too bad. This is actually the first time I've ran through that dungeon on the hard settings, so... oh, this is pretty cool. When you get to the end of a dungeon, basically what the game does is give you this random choice of cards, and you can flip one and you get a prize. And that's every time you run through a floor of a dungeon. If you aren't satisfied with the card you turn over, you can pay gold in order to flip a second card instead. So if, say, you wanted a piece of equipment or something, you can try for that multiple times. But I'm just back here in the overworld now, turning in the quest that I had. But that's kind of, I just wanted to show you guys real quick this game. I thought it was really neat, and I mean, right now it's free to play. There's really no reason why you shouldn't check it out. I've only played it a little while, but I know I'm going to be sitting here for the next few hours playing this exclusively. So I just really hope you guys check it out. Once again, you can download it off of Steam. It's free to play, so just hop on, create an account, and see if it's your cup of tea, I guess. It's definitely a break from normal MMOs, and I think it's a really good change of pace. If you're a fan of this art style and this genre, then I can almost guarantee that you'll like it, is my point. So anyway, I think that's about all for this video. I'm going to be getting back to my other videos shortly, but for now, this has been Jesus Quesadilla, signing out and wishing you well. Peace.